Hey everyone, my name is Dave Nixon and welcome to the Alpha Theta Flow podcast. This is Flow 730 and today I'm talking about fuck yes. Fuck yes is a very simple approach. I think I first came across, I had a friend share an article and I'm pretty sure it was a Mark Manson. Mark Manson, that's his name? Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck? Mark Manson? I'm pretty sure it's Mark Manson. And I'm pretty sure he wrote a blog post at one point talking about fuck yes. In fact, I think the subtle art of not giving a fuck was actually first a blog post, then turned into a book. So there you go. The guy blogs. And point being is, and the whole idea around a fuck yes is, if something's not a fuck yes, then it's a no. Now, of course, someone could look at this concept, this filter, decision-making process, and go, not every single thing can be a fuck yes, right? Sure, maybe that's the case. But let me talk you through the process. Let me talk you through why having this approach or having a conscious decision filtering process would actually be beneficial. A lot of people find it hard to say no. They find it extremely hard to say no. But what they're not realizing is that they're always saying no. Whenever you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. Because a lot of other people that find it hard to say yes are actually also, at the same time, simultaneously, saying no. When you're saying yes to one thing, you are simultaneously saying no to absolutely everything else. When you say no to one thing, you're also saying yes to something else. That's a really important point to remember. So if we sometimes, struggle to say no to someone because we're a yes man or a yes person, you're saying no to someone every single time. Not only are you saying no to everyone else because you're saying yes to one particular person, even though you may think it might be a group of people, but the person you're saying no to is you. So that person who has that difficulty may not struggle to say yes to people, but what they're really good at is saying no to themselves. So it's not so much that they always want to people please or they always want to say yes to everyone else, they're a yes man or a yes woman. It's actually that they struggle to say yes to themselves. It's so much easier to meet other people's needs, which is funnily enough meeting their need, their conditional need, meeting everyone else's needs, that their needs never get met fully, properly, like on a wholesome level. It always gets met superficially by attempting to meet everyone else's needs. When everyone else is happy and safe, then I'll be happy and safe, as you could imagine. There's no conscious structure. And what this sort of leads us to is just arbitrarily saying yes and no to particular things without really being able to think it through, especially through our own values that we've consciously chosen as an adult. And more often than not, we end up with mediocrity. We end up with decisions that we didn't really actually fucking want. We say yes to average shit. So stop saying yes to average shit. I mean, I relate to this massively with actually money recently. When I say recently, I mean the last couple of years. Growing up, I've mentioned it before on the podcast, I grew up with a single mum. We had, Centrelink payments. I remember going to Centrelink, which is effectively Australia's welfare, and waiting in line so that I could get a bus ticket. I had to go there to get a bus ticket for my term so I could go to school. Let alone the Centrelink payments that we got. My dad was living in another city. I still have a very good relationship with my dad. But either way, I grew up with this idea that we need to pay rent first, not realizing that if you're always paying rent first, you never actually pay a mortgage. So as an adult, I really had to start addressing certain values that I was given as a kid. That, did I really want this anymore? One of those things was, looking at the price of something and always trying to get the best price and valuing that or thinking that, the lower price is just as good as the upper price item. You're just paying for the name. And it's just not fucking true. In some cases, it might be similar, but it's just not true. And so one of the things that I really started to integrate was this whole idea of buy once, cry once, right? The poor man pays twice, and just spend a little bit more money, because where you put your money has a direct reflection of what you value. This is the same for your body. This is the same for your personal development. For me, it was the gym. I looked at the gym and I'm like, this isn't fucking good enough. I always valued community and coaching and people. I didn't value the actual the gear nearly as much. And that's where it let me down. And so I let me down. And so I started to buy the better stuff. I started to buy the better brands. I started to sell on the stuff that I didn't want anymore. And when I would start to look at things, I'd be like, is it actually a fuck yes? Do I actually really want that? Or is it a maybe? If it's a maybe, don't fucking get it, because you're going to have it. And you're going to have it for a little while. And then after a while, you're going to be like, I don't really love this. I don't really want this. It's just there. Stop filling your life with average shit. It's so breathtaking. It's so relieving to not just have stuff around for the sake of having stuff that serves no purpose other than clutter. If you're going to have something, let it have a purpose. How is this actually benefiting your life? And it's the same for people. It's the same for relationships. It's the same for your career. It's everything. If it's not a fuck yes, then for me it was a no. And I started to live by that rule pretty hard. It might have beat me in the bum a few times, but more often than not, it started to push me in a direction where I really wanted to go with my life. The issue is that a lot of people have this fear of missing out. And so they have this fear of missing out, so that it's like, well, I may as well get this because I don't want to miss out and have nothing. But once you have that, then you're not going to get better. It's so rare that if you have it, then the other opportunity of better or better for you starts to actually come up, right? And so people often don't realize that if you have this fear of missing out, but you get the substandard item or the substandard relationship, you are missing out. You're missing out on so much more because you're saying yes to something you really don't actually really want. So therefore, you're saying no to all the other stuff. This is why this rule is crucial. It's very, very powerful. And the thing is that it permeates every area of your life. How you're making decisions here is there's a really, really healthy chance that you're making the same decisions over here or somewhere else in your life. Now, I want to share with you some ways that you can start making different decisions if this shit aligns with you. And this is something that I really push back against, one of the things that people often struggle with is this urgency culture, this hustle culture. And so we have to get back to people straight away, unless, of course, we're not quite maybe potentially dating. Then I'll get back to you when I need to get back to you, because that's obviously going to show you ways that I like you, but I don't like you because I'm not too sure. Anyway, not in the dating scene for a while, just guessing. This urgency culture where we need to be replying back to emails as quick as possible. I get a text, I have a watch on that's telling me when I get emails, and just fuck it right off. You don't need any of that to tap you on the shoulder all the time to take your attention away from living. One of the issues around urgency culture is that you end up just responding, but you're not actually responding, you're reacting. So you've trained yourself to react. And the issue with reacting is that you're reactioning some type of behavior from the past that's just helping you save time and energy by just doing the exact same thing, so nothing fucking changes long term. So you might be running as fast as you can, but are you going in the direction that's true and honest for you? Just pause. Take time to respond to whatever's going on in your world. You don't have to. You don't owe it to anyone to respond straight away. If you take time, you can start to ask questions, you can start to filter through, and then you're responding on your terms. This is so crucial. It is so powerful for you. You start to be able to go, hang on a sec. Let me just look forward. I'm going to have some foresight, and then I'm going to look back and have some hindsight. My experience also tells me that I've done something like this in the past and I regretted it. But at the time, I said yes. Why was that? Well, a question that's worth asking is, if I was to say yes to this, or no to this, depending what the question is, who would be the most pleased by my decision? And if the person's not you, not that everyone else doesn't matter, it's not always about one or the other, it's both. But if the person's not you, why are you continually making decisions to make your life average to try and please someone else? You making someone else happy is not your fucking job. It's theirs. That's their job. It's your job to make you happy. Listen to that again if you need to. We say yes to people who need to hear no. Stop saying yes to average shit. And on that note, team, I am done. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this podcast or you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I'd love it if you could review, rate on the old podcast app. If you're interested in learning more about either the Inner Game or the Coacher Circle, which are two programs that I run, then head to alphathetaflow.com. You can also grab a book. My book's called Minding Yourself, either there or anywhere online that sells books. But that's it from me. Big love, peace and pizza. I'll see you all soon.